Lieutenant Sierra Cross tumbled through black storm clouds, handcuffed, blood streaming from her temple. Lightning flashed across her face, not terrified, but calculating. Her lips moved silently, counting. 5, 6, 7. In exactly 4 seconds, she would hit the Pacific Ocean at 120 miles per hour, handcuffed. 3 broken ribs, and the 3 people who threw her from that helicopter. They had just made the worst miscalculation of their lives. Because Sierra Cross never forgets. Her body twisted midair, angling for a feet-first impact. The ocean rushed up to meet her. Impact. Violent. The world went black. Sierra performed her pre-flight inspection on the MH-60 Seahawk helicopter with the same methodical precision she always did. Routine maintenance. Check the hydraulics. Inspect the rotors. She hummed along to music in her earbuds, completely unaware that in 3 days, she would be fighting for her life. She opened a maintenance panel to check the hydraulic lines. Something caught her eye. A small data drive, military grade, taped inside with black electrical tape. She glanced around. No one watching. She pocketed it and continued her inspection like nothing happened, but her hands shook slightly. That night, alone in her small apartment, Sierra plugged the drive into her laptop, encrypted files. She cracked them using software she'd taught herself to use, a skill her superiors didn't know she had. The files opened, and her world tilted. Flight manifests with routes redacted, wire transfers from something called RSG Corporation to numbered accounts, coordinates for active military convoys, encrypted communications referencing package delivery, and client confirmation. Someone was selling flight plans. Her flight plans. She cross-referenced the dates, and her stomach dropped. These were her missions, her routes. She scrolled to a communication, dated 6 months earlier. Route confirmed. Convoy ETA 0600. Client paid in full. BH. That date. She remembered it. A supply convoy hit by an IED in Afghanistan. 3 soldiers died. Her eyes moved to the framed photo on her wall, her crew, all smiling. Commander Blake Hutchins stood in the back, arms crossed, looking like someone's dependable father. Blake, she whispered. The next morning, Sierra walked into Commander Hutchins' office with the data drive in her hand. He sat behind his desk, coffee mug that read, "World's Best Dad," next to a family photo, 2 teenage kids, the ex-wife cropped out. Sierra, early bird. What can I do for you? Well, his smile was warm, genuine. She placed the drive on his desk. I found this. In my bird. Maintenance panel. The smile didn't falter, but his eyes went cold. He picked up the drive, examined it carefully. Where exactly? Portside hydraulics. Someone hid it there. And you've looked at it? I had to know if it compromised the aircraft. Long silence. Long silence. Hutchins leaned back in his chair, studying her. Then he opened a drawer and pulled out a folder, sliding it across the desk. Sierra, you're one of my best pilots. Smart. Principled. That's why I'm going to be straight with you. Lieutenant commander position. Teaching role at Pensacola. Full benefits. Immediate transfer. You'd be training the next generation. Making a real difference. Sierra didn't touch the folder. That convoy hit 6 months ago. Afghanistan. 3 dead. The route information was on that drive. Hutchins' voice hardened. You don't understand the complexity of what you're looking at. Then, explain it to me, sir. He stood. Some operations require unofficial channels, contractors, intelligence sharing. It's above your pay grade, and frankly, above mine. But it keeps soldiers alive in the long run. Those 3 soldiers were acceptable losses in a bigger picture you cannot see. His words hit like a slap. Now, you can take this promotion, serve with honor, and forget you ever saw that drive. Or I pull your flight logs, your psych evals. That Afghanistan incident where you prioritized crew over civilians, we reopen that investigation. Your PTSD diagnosis goes public. Media runs with unstable pilot, makes false accusations. You're discredited, discharged, and dishonored. Your father's name, everything you've built, gone. He knew exactly where to hit her. Sierra's father had died in a workplace accident when she was 16. Ruled operator error. No investigation. The company faced no consequences. She joined the Navy to find the justice the system denied him. I need time to think, she said quietly. 24 hours. After that, I can't protect you. As the door closed behind her, Hutchins picked up his phone. We have a problem. Cross nose. Yes. The drive. No. She won't take the deal. Then we move to contingency. If you're already hooked by this story of betrayal and survival, hit that subscribe button. Because what happens next will change everything. That night, Sierra sat in darkness, staring at the files on her laptop. She'd made copies cloud backup, encrypted thumb drive on her keychain. Her phone buzzed. Text from Sergeant Mira Chen. You okay? You seemed off today. Beer? Mira. Her best friend for 6 years. They'd trained together, deployed together, trusted each other completely. But could Sierra trust anyone now? She scrolled her contacts and stopped on a name. Chief Warrant Officer Jasmine Reyes. Military intelligence. They'd worked together once, 2 years ago, on a hostage extraction. Smart, careful, outside her chain of command. Sierra made the call. When Jasmine answered, groggy and confused, Sierra said simply, I need help, and I think I'm being watched. 5 minutes later, using an encrypted line, Sierra laid it all out. Someone in her unit was selling intel to contractors, flight routes, convoy paths. People had died. Commander Blake Hutchins, maybe others. There was a long pause. When Jasmine spoke again, her voice had changed raw, personal. Send me what you have. Everything. Right now. Why are you helping me? Jasmine hesitated. Because 2 years ago my brother died in a convoy ambush outside Kabul. Route was supposed to be secure. Someone sold it. I've been looking for who ever since. Sierra's breath caught. Jesus. Send it. Now. And Sierra, don't trust anyone in your unit. Not even your friends. Sierra glanced at Mira's unanswered text. She sent the encrypted files. 30 seconds later, Jasmine's voice came back, urgent. Holy shit. This is bigger than Hutchins. Redstone Security Group. That's Victor Krauss. Billions in defense contracts. Political connections. Sierra, if they know you have this, Hutchins gave me 24 hours to take a bribe or be discredited. He's lying. They're going to kill you. Then Sierra heard it. The apartment door lock clicked. Someone was entering. With a key. Someone's here, she whispered. Get out. Now. Sierra grabbed her go-bag and slipped out the bedroom window onto the fire escape just as her apartment door opened. From the shadows outside, she watched 2 figures enter. Sergeant Mira Chen Captain Derek Vance, both in civilian clothes. Sierra, you home? Your car's outside, Mira called out. Vance's voice was cold. Check her laptop. See if she made copies. Mira hesitated. Derek, maybe we should just... We're past just anything. Find it. Sierra's heart shattered in her chest. Mira, her best friend, the woman she'd trusted with her life. She ran into the night, alone and hunted. The next day, Sierra showed up for her scheduled flight. She hadn't slept. She'd been hiding in her car in a Walmart parking lot, still in contact with Jasmine, who'd discovered something chilling. Hutchins had received a wire transfer the day before $200,000 from a Redstone shell company. The same day Sierra confronted him. Payment for what? Jasmine's answer was blunt. That's the termination fee. Sierra, you need to go public. Now. But Sierra needed one more piece of evidence. So, she went to the airfield, knowing it might be a trap. Her crew assembled on the tarmac. Commander Hutchins as pilot, Captain Vance as co-pilot, Sergeant Chen as crew chief, and Sierra, oddly assigned as gunner instead of pilot. Mira approached her, unable to meet her eyes. Hey, you never responded last night. Was busy, Sierra replied, her voice ice cold. Listen, about tonight, can we talk? And after the flight, they boarded the helicopter. Sierra noticed something strange. Mira had packed an extra survival raft. Why? They flew out over the Pacific Ocean. Routine patrol, except Hutchins was taking them farther out than normal. 15 miles off course. Sir, we're off course, Sierra said into the comms. Weather diversion. Relax, Lieutenant. Then Vance pulled his weapon, aimed it at Sierra. Hands. Now. Sierra's hand moved toward her sidearm, but Hutchins turned in his seat. This is unfortunate, Sierra. Truly. But you forced our hand. Mira stood there holding zip-tie cuffs, tears streaming down her face. Please don't fight. Please. Sierra stared at her former friend. Why? Mira's voice broke. My daughter. They're paying for her treatment. I didn't think they'd actually. Vance barked. Shut up and cuff her. Sierra fought. Brutal hand-to-hand combat in the cramped helicopter. She got Vance's weapon, but Hutchins pulled the bird into a violent maneuver. Sierra slammed against the bulkhead, and everything went black. When she came to, she was zip-tied with her hands behind her back, bleeding from the head. The cargo door was open. Storm clouds. Rain lashing inside. Hutchins crouched beside her, almost apologetic. For what it's worth, you were a hell of a pilot. Sierra's voice was defiant. You're going to burn for this. No, I'm going to be promoted. And you're going to be a training accident. Fell during a storm. Tragic loss. But Sierra had one card left to play. I've already sent everything to NCIS. Kill me, and it just confirms their suspicions. Hutchins smiled. No, you haven't. Jasmine Reyes has been under surveillance for 6 months. Every file she touched, we've scrubbed. Every contact she made, we know about. You have nothing. He paused. She'll have an accident too. Car crash, probably. Tragic week for the Navy. Mira whispered, horrified. Blake, you said no one else would. Hutchins ignored her. Do it. Vance grabbed Sierra and dragged her to the open door, wind screaming. Sierra looked at Mira one last time. Your daughter will ask what happened to Aunt Sierra. What will you tell her? Mira turned away, sobbing. Vance threw her out. If your heart is racing right now, Drop a comment below. Tell me, would you have confronted Hutchins, or would you have run? Let's talk about it. Sierra fell through the storm, eyes open, lips moving. She was counting, calculating. When she hit the water, the impact was devastating. Ribs cracked, her shoulder dislocated further. But she'd been ready. She'd angled for feet-first impact. She'd held her breath. Underwater, sinking fast, hands zip-tied behind her back. Sierra didn't panic. She went limp, conserving oxygen. Let herself sink until the pressure equalized. Then, using the ocean floor as leverage, she pushed the zip tie down to her feet. She was double-jointed, a quirk that had always seemed useless until now. She stepped, threw her arms, bringing her bound hands to the front. She bit the zip tie, using her molars to work the locking mechanism. It snapped, hands free. She kicked toward the surface, lungs burning, vision narrowing. When she broke through, gasping, massive waves surrounded her. But she was alive. Debris from a shipping container floated nearby, wooden pallets, plastic drums. Sierra grabbed a pallet, pulled herself up, and screamed into the storm. Not in fear, in rage. Not today. Not today. When dawn came and the storm passed, Sierra's makeshift raft had drifted toward a rocky coastline. She paddled with a piece of debris and dragged herself onto the beach, collapsed, stared at the sky. Jasmine, she whispered to herself. I'm coming. She found an abandoned boathouse and broke in. Scavenged supplies, expired first aid kit, fishing gear, a dead satellite phone with a solar charger, tourist map. She stripped and assessed the damage. 3 broken ribs, dislocated shoulder, hypothermia setting in, cuts and bruises everywhere. What followed was brutal. She reset her shoulder using a door frame technique. The pop was sickening, and she screamed, biting down on leather. She wrapped her ribs with torn cloth, treated her wounds with antiseptic, screaming again. 2 days later, when she'd recovered enough to move, Sierra charged the satellite phone and called Jasmine's number. It rang and rang. Voicemail. Jasmine, it's Sierra. I'm alive. If you get this, be careful. They know about you. She hung up, tried again. Nothing. Panic rose. Was Jasmine already dead? Then the phone rang back. Unknown number. Hello. You're alive. Jasmine's voice shook with emotion. Jesus Christ. You're alive. I saw the report, helicopter accident. Pilot lost at sea. Presumed dead. They threw me out, Jasmine. Hutchins said you're next. I know. 2 men tried to run me off the road yesterday. Military plates. I've gone. Dark staying with a friend off base. We need to move fast. Jasmine had been digging. It was worse than they thought. Redstone Security wasn't just buying intelligence, they were selling it to foreign buyers. China, Russia, treason, not just corruption. Evidence? Sierra asked. I intercepted communications. Redstone is hosting an International Defense Expo in Las Vegas in 3 days. Victor Krauss is the keynote speaker. Every major defense contractor, military brass, politicians, all in one place. Sierra understood immediately. Public venue. Cameras everywhere. They can't silence us there. How do we get you there? You're supposed to be dead. Sierra's voice was cold steel. That's my advantage. Dead women don't have anything to lose. 48 hours later, Sierra walked into the Aria Convention Center in Las Vegas. She'd transformed herself. Short, dark wig, colored contacts, professional attire. Forged press credentials identified her as Rebecca Holt, Defense Weekly. Jasmine had hacked the expo registration and added Sierra's fake ID to the approved list. Inside, the massive expo floor was filled with weapon displays, military tech, booth after booth of death machines marketed as defense solutions. Sierra navigated through the crowd, photographing faces, listening to conversations. Then she saw her, Mira Chen, in civilian clothes, wearing a Redstone security contractor badge, escorting Victor Kraus, 60-something, silver-haired, expensive suit. Politician's smile. Sierra's blood ran cold. Her hand instinctively moved to the concealed knife in her bag. She followed them from a distance, waiting for the right moment. When Mira entered the women's restroom alone, Sierra waited until they were alone, then locked the bathroom door behind them. Mira turned, saw Sierra, and went white. "Oh my God." Surprise. You're alive." Sierra advanced cold, fury radiating from her. "No, thanks to you." "Sierra, please. I didn't know they were going to. You cuffed me. You watched them throw me out. What did you think was going to happen?" Mira's tears streamed down her face. "They said they'd just scare you, transfer you. I swear, I didn't know." Sierra pulled the knife. "Give me one reason I shouldn't cut your throat right now." Mira broke down completely. "Because I have a daughter who needs me. Because I'm a coward, and I hate myself, and I can't take it back." Silence hung between them. Sierra trembled with rage, the knife steady in her hand. "How much did they pay you?" 50,000. "For Lily's treatment. She has a rare genetic disorder, and the military insurance won't." "I don't care. You sold me for money. I sold myself." Mira's voice cracked. "Don't you get it? I'm already dead inside. They own me now. I'm working for Kraus as private security, because Hutchins said if I didn't, they'd hurt Lily." Sierra's grip on the knife tightened, but something in Mira's broken expression gave her pause. "Where's Hutchins now?" "Upstairs. VIP suite. Planning something with Kraus." Mira took a shaky breath. "Sierra, they're selling submarine patrol routes to Chinese intelligence tonight. A live auction. That's why everyone's here. I'm supposed to help them smuggle the data, drive out after the sale." Sierra processed this. Then she made a decision that surprised even herself. "Help me stop them, and I'll make sure Lily's taken care of." Mira looked up, desperate hope in her eyes. "How?" "Whistleblower Protection Fund. DOD. Investigator. You testify. You get immunity and relocation. You and Lily disappear. New identities. You're lying. I'm giving you one chance. The only chance you'll ever get. Help me, or drown with them." Mira calculated her options. She had none. "The auction is during Kraus's keynote. 7 p.m. Main stage. The data transfer happens backstage during his speech. Security will be tight. Can you get me backstage? If I do this, they'll kill me." Sierra's voice was brutal but honest. "They'll kill you anyway. At least this way. Your daughter grows up knowing her mother died a hero instead of a coward." Mira nodded slowly, resolved. "What do you need?" "What do you need?" Before we continue, if you're on the edge of your seat wondering what happens next, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe so you don't miss stories like this. At 6:45 p.m., Mira escorted Rebecca Holt through backstage security using her contractor credentials. When a guard questioned the press access, Mira smoothly lied. She's doing a profile piece on Mr. Kraus. Proved interview. The guard checked his tablet. Jasmine had hacked it to show authorization. They were waved through. Backstage. Mira whispered urgently. Hutchins is in the green room with Kraus and the buyers. 3 Chinese military attachés. They're finalizing the transfer. I need access to the AV system. Jasmine's ready to broadcast. Control booth is on the 2nd level. But Derek Vance is running security up there. Can you distract him? Mira's fear was palpable. He'll know something's wrong. Make something up. You're good at lying. The words stung, but Mira nodded. When Mira approached Vance in the control booth with a fabricated story about a nosy reporter, he followed her out immediately, suspicious and alert. The booth was empty. Sierra slipped in, locked the door, and plugged in Jasmine's USB drive. I'm in. Go, Sierra said into her phone. Uploading now. I'm taking control of the presentation feed. When Kraus starts his speech, I'll override it. Then Jasmine cursed. Shit. Shit. What? They've got military-grade encryption. I need more time. You've got 90 seconds before Vance realizes it's a setup. Then keep him busy. In the hallway, Vance's suspicion grew. I don't see any reporter. She was just... maybe she left. He grabbed Mira's arm, hard. Or maybe you're playing me. Where's Cross? What? She's dead. Hutchins is paranoid. Wants the body confirmed. They never found her. What if she survived? He dragged Mira back toward the control booth. Then you won't mind if I check. Inside. Sierra heard them coming. Jasmine's upload. 78% complete. 30 seconds, Jasmine said. I don't have 30 seconds. Sierra drew her knife and positioned herself behind the door. When Vance kicked it open, she ambushed him, knife to his throat. But Vance was trained. He flipped her, slammed her against the console. Equipment crashed. The fight was brutal, confined, desperate. Mira stood frozen in the doorway. Help me, Vance shouted at her. Mira looked at Sierra, bloody, desperate, fighting for truth. She looked at Vance, the man who'd kept her enslaved to their corruption. She grabbed a heavy equipment case and smashed it into Vance's head. He dropped, unconscious. Sierra stared at her, shocked. Mira was crying. Go, finish it. Upload complete. Jasmine's voice came through the phone. I'm in the system. At 7 p.m., Victor Kraus took the main stage. 2,000 people filled the audience, defense contractors, military brass, politicians, international buyers. The event was being live-streamed to millions. Ladies and gentlemen, Kraus began, smooth and charismatic, we stand at a crossroads. In an era of global instability, Redstone Security Group offers not just protection, but partnership. We bridge the gap between nations, providing the tools necessary for peace, through strength. Applause rippled through the crowd. Cameras captured every moment. Backstage, Sierra watched on a monitor. Jasmine, do it. Launching in 3, 2, 1. The massive screens behind Kraus flickered. His presentation vanished, replaced by bold text. The Redstone files, a pattern of treason. Kraus turned, confused. The audience murmured. Then, the evidence appeared. Flight manifests with classified routes. Wire transfers from Redstone to military officers' names, dates, amounts. Intercepted communications between Krause and foreign military officials. Photos of Commander Blake Hutchins meeting with Chinese intelligence officers. Audio recordings of Hutchins and Kraus discussing client needs and route sales. The room erupted. Cameras flashed. Reporters, shouted questions. Security scrambled in confusion. Krause grabbed the microphone, trying to maintain control. This is fake. Disinformation. Someone has hacked. Then Jasmine's voice overrode the audio system, calm and authoritative. My name is Chief Warrant Officer Jasmine Reyes, United States Navy. What you're seeing is classified intelligence proving a conspiracy between Redstone's security group and senior military officers to sell American defense secrets to foreign adversaries. This is treason. The FBI has been notified. All exits are being secured. No one leaves this building. Pandemonium. In a VIP suite, Hutchins watched in horror. He pulled a weapon and rushed toward the stage, his men following. But Sierra intercepted him backstage. She stepped into his path, calm and ready. Going somewhere, Commander? Hutchins raised his weapon. You should have stayed dead. Funny. I was thinking the same about you. Security was closing in. Police sirens wailed outside. FBI agents were already entering the building, alerted by Jasmine's evidence dump. Hutchins' face twisted with rage and desperation. You think you've won? You've destroyed everything, your career, your reputation. Everyone will see you as the traitor who stole classified intel. But Sierra didn't let him finish. In one fluid motion, she disarmed him, a move drilled into her from years of combat training. His weapon clattered to the floor. She swept his legs, and he went down hard. FBI agents swarmed in, weapons drawn. Hands. Show me your hands. Hutchins was cuffed. So was Krause, pulled from the stage in front of every camera. Captain Derek Vance, still groggy from Mira's attack, was arrested. Mira surrendered willingly, hands up, tears streaming. As Hutchins was dragged away, he looked at Sierra one last time. This won't stick. I have connections. Lawyers. I'll be out in. You sold roots that got my people killed, Sierra said quietly. You threw me from a helicopter, and you did it all for money. You're done. The cameras captured everything. The evidence was airtight. The world was watching. 6 months later, the fallout was still unfolding. Congressional hearings, military reform investigations, Redstone Security Group's assets frozen, Victor Krause awaiting trial. Commander Blake Hutchins and Captain Derek Vance faced life sentences for treason and attempted murder. Sergeant Mira Chen testified against them in exchange for immunity. She and her daughter entered witness protection with new identities, relocated far from the military life that had consumed her. Before she disappeared, she sent Sierra a letter. Just 3 words. I'm sorry. Always. Sierra never wrote back. Jasmine Reyes received a commendation for her work exposing the conspiracy, though the illegal hacking was quietly overlooked given the magnitude of the treason uncovered. As for Sierra, her rank and honors were restored. She was offered a promotion and a prestigious position in military oversight, but she declined. I didn't survive to go back to the same system that Matt tried to bury me, she told the review board. Instead, Sierra became an advocate for military whistleblowers, working with a non-profit that exposed corruption in defense contracts. She gave talks at military academies, telling her story not as a hero, but as someone who'd learned that sometimes the system doesn't protect truth-tellers. Sometimes you have to burn it down to rebuild it. On a quiet morning, Sierra stood on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the same waters that had almost killed her. She spread her arms wide, feeling the wind against her face. The scars on her ribs ached in the cold, but they reminded her of what she'd survived. She'd fallen from the sky, betrayed by those she trusted most. She'd drowned and been reborn. She'd lost her faith in the system but found something stronger, faith in herself. They tried to break her, Instead, they freed her. Sometimes you have to fall to learn how strong your wings really are. If this story moved you, if it made you think about justice, betrayal, and the cost of speaking truth to power, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and comment below. Tell me what you would have done in Sierra's position. Would you have trusted Mira again? Would you have gone public or stayed silent? Because these stories matter. Stories about people who refuse to stay down, who fight back when the world tells them they're powerless, who survive the fall. This is CrimeNest Stories, where every fall is a chance to rise. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.